Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And I've got the sad duty of talking about another friend passing away, Mr. Wayne Bledsoe. Wayne Bledsoe was an icon in Bluegrass. He truly, truly was. He had a very long-running DJ program here in Missouri. He worked out of the University of Missouri in Rolla there. I said University of Missouri. That's not right. Well, it's called Missouri S&T now. It had a different name, and I can't think of the name that it used to be for many, many years. But anyway, it's S&T, and Science and Technology is what that stands for. And it was on a college public radio station, and it was a very long time radio program. Well, in 1990, he founded the Bluegrass Now magazine as well, and that was published here in Missouri for many, many years, and then he finally sold the magazine in, I don't know, I think the early 2000s, I can't remember when. And anyway, it's now a magazine that's published online, I think, only. It used to be an actual printed magazine, of course, when it first came out. And Wayne gave me my very first start in radio. I filled in on his, I filled in just a few times, and then I guess I was okay, and then he had me fill in for about a whole year while he was running for, I think it was state representative. So I took over his program for about a whole year. And then that led to me getting a more permanent job on a different regular commercial radio station. And I had a bluegrass show on there. It was called the Saturday Morning Bluegrass Show. And I ran that for several years until they found a way to get a free show from Nashville, and they didn't have to pay me, so that's what they did. But Wayne was responsible for all that. Wayne was just a super kind, great guy. He was a big fan of my uncle Don Brown. He liked all kinds of bluegrass. He liked the traditional. He liked the very progressive. He just really was just an all-around wonderful superhuman. He just as good as they get. I kind of feel bad that I didn't get out and try to help him learn the mandolin better. He came to the shop with his mandolin a time or two and always said he was going to come to our jams where I could help him with the mandolin, but he never did. He never did show up. I probably should have pursued it and went to his house and showed him something on the mandolin. But anyway, just really a sad, sad deal to see Wayne go. I didn't even know he was ill. I saw him it's been a year ago maybe. I think he came by the shop, if I remember right, and he brought something. I can't remember what it was, and I fixed it, whatever it was. Anyway, just sad, 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 sad deal for me. And the other sad part of it is I'm sure that whatever arrangements they have for him, it'll probably happen while I'm down in Mountain View. And I'm torn now. I'm just really torn on what to do. I just don't know what to do. But then again, I don't know about the arrangements at all yet. Let's see. Mostly yesterday, all I did was paperwork and reconcile accounts. But I did do this, sort of. Well, I guess it's working. Yeah, I had to take that thing completely apart, put in a whole new control unit in it, and you would think, realistically, if it wasn't built so weird, that would be a 5-minute job. Take out the control unit, plug in the new one, and off and to the races. But it's not made that way. And you had to disassemble virtually pretty close to everything on the bike to do that. It just really, again, it's just one of those poor designs, and the parts came in for it last Friday, but they were the wrong parts. So my daughter, Lisa, exchanged them yesterday, and Sue met her halfway and got the parts here. And so then I fixed it. Anyway, he's happy now that he's got his little mini bike working again. Of course, it wasn't like he was without wheels. He was riding the four-wheeler or one of our side-by-sides or the go-kart. I mean, it wasn't like he had to walk everywhere. So anyway, we got that fixed. I got a viewer gift from Richard Reisner, and he sent me a box of deer antler pieces, and there's quite a few of them in there. A lot of these will be perfectly fine for antler saddles. A lot of them are very short. That one there is hollowed out. I'll be darned. He must have been doing something with that one. But like this is the base, but unfortunately it's a little too short to make a mandolin saddle out of. But you could still make a nut or something else. And basically what I'm going to do is probably just save these now for Caleb. I might use a piece or two if I need it, but otherwise, pretty much all the antler I get these days I'm saving for Caleb Mills. If the rest of you do have deer antler and you want to help support the cause, Caleb Mills could use them. You can find him, Caleb Mills Guitars, on YouTube, and I'm sure if you comment to him, he would love to have the deer antler. So if you could send it to him, I'm sure he'd be very grateful. And thank you, Richard, for sending that. I did send Richard a thank you text this morning. I'm about to conclude this, I think. The only other thing is that, I basically thought out loud yesterday and mentioned that I would be, consider doing some mandolin training live like this. Well, I've been trying to give that some more thought, and, the realization kind of hits you that that's going to take a lot of time, and it really will. I don't think I'll do it on the vlogs. I think I'll make it a separate thing. I would like to just basically keep it free and train people free, but it takes so very much of my time that's not exactly smart on my part or realistic, either one. The way I'm thinking of doing that is have like one lesson per week and on a schedule, have it on a certain day at a certain time, and make the lesson itself 30 minutes, followed by 30 minutes of questions and answers. And I kind of think it'll take a full hour pretty much, and I'm pretty sure there'll be enough questions and answers to fill the hour. That's generally the way those kinds of lessons go. But then again, I could be wrong, and it might be a little shorter. But what I'm thinking of actually doing is setting a timer, starting the lesson, and 30 minutes into it, then just break it off and go to questions and answers, and then pick up where we left off on the next lesson. It's kind of the way I'm thinking of doing it. If you've got ideas, feel free to put those in the comments. I'm not going to require any payment, but I think I will probably do this. Have a banner going across the bottom of the lesson like this the whole time. And that is, it just says that, I'm giving these lessons away freely, but if you're financially able, how about a super chat or a PayPal from $3 to $10 per lesson? And I'm not looking to get rich. But on the other hand, this is going to take a lot of time. I mean, it's not just the hour, there's a lot of prep time before you do it. So there's a lot of time that it's going to take to do this. So I don't know. I'm curious how you feel about that and how you feel about the ticker. I know it's a little bit annoying, but on the other hand, I want to keep it free, but there's a lot of people that are financially capable to help, and if I can make a little bit to cover my time, I think it's worth, it's worth doing. Otherwise, just donating hours and hours of time every week. I mean, like these vlogs take time too, but on the other hand, I kind of feel like they're beneficial for you and me for various and sundry reasons. So let me know what you think about all that, and if I'm missing the boat on something, straighten me out, and we'll talk about it. Let's go to the comments and see where we're at today. Eddie Turner was number 1, John Pepper, David Tharp, Rod Wintler, the usual crew, Timothy Werblow, and David Tharp says, I quit eating alphabet soup. It was always trying to put words in my mouth. Then he says, you realize that your shadow confirms that light travels 93 million miles unobstructed, only to be deprived of reaching the ground in the last few feet thanks to you. Yeah, well, that's a different way of thinking about it, I guess. Dottie says she's praying. Well, I'm praying for you too, Dottie. I hope everything went well at the doctor's yesterday. Yeah, and she's mentioned the safe travels to Mountain View, and I'm still planning on going, but gosh dang, this thing about Wayne Bledsoe is just killing me. Anyway, moving on down, let's see what else question marks wise we can get into. David Tharp, I don't eat any organic food. I figured at my age I need all the preservatives I can get. That's me. Sugar, salt, and preservatives. That's all I eat. That's why I'm able to cut, a cord of wood every 3 days during the winter. Kim Williford, my condolences, Jerry. So sorry for your loss. Prayers to you and your family. How is Isaac doing? Well, Isaac helped me on the Minibike yesterday. In fact, he was there, and he was standing most of the time, so he's doing really well. His leg's healing really fast, and yeah, thanks for the prayers. He's doing really good. So I'm so relieved about that, because I didn't even know you could have that problem, have that ball slip off the end of that bone like that. Crazy, just crazy. Moving on down, let's see. Hope I'm not skipping anybody. Dottie, okay, I think most of them are private conversations. Bill Rhodes is saying good morning to everybody. And moving on down, Mike Bennett was the first one after we went live, it looks like. And let's see, David Tharp says, that little voice in your head that tells you not to say things you shouldn't. Well, I don't have that. I've never been accused of having that little voice either. I pretty much tell it like it is. Yeah, pretty much always too. Ronald Todd, sorry for your loss, Jerry. At our age, friends are getting fewer and fewer. Yeah, and he was such a good guy. Just such a kind man. Jeff Puris, condolences. Thank you. I would think he would want you to go to the gym. Yeah, he probably would, but it's a bad deal. It's just a sad deal. It's just sad timing. It just stuff like this seems to always occur, Dottie Hildebrand, I sure hope you decide to do the lessons like half hour and then the questions. I just bought me a beginner mandolin. Okay, well, I'm planning to do it. I'm just trying to get all my thoughts together, get all my ducks in a row before we get it started, trying to think through the issues. I've given group lessons face-to-face before, and that's always gone super well. In fact, there's even a video of me doing it at one music store, but I've done it in a lot of places. I've done it at festivals. There's been festival people have asked me to do it. I've done it quite a few places, actually, over the years. We had, for quite a while, were doing them live here, group lessons in Rolla, and that was when our bass player, Renee Caudill, she kind of organized that and got that started and recruited me into it, and you know how it is. I ended up kind of running that part of it anyway. Dottie Hildebrand, I sure hope you... Oh, sorry. I'm can't read fast enough. I'd be glad to do the super chats. Yeah, well, thank you. And again, I'm not looking for lots of money. I just feel like it's kind of crazy to do all of this work, and it's hours and hours of work, without any compensation whatsoever. So I think a small thing like that is all I'm looking for. Lessons sound great, Jerry. Can't wait to get started. Okay. That's from Tim Werblow. Let's see. Moving on down. Lester says, Jerry, everyone has to be compensated for their talents, so a charge is necessary. Yeah, and like I said, though, I'm going to make it voluntary because there are people that just can't afford it, and I've been there. I know how that is, and, so I'm going to leave it free, just your own discretion, Yeah, let's see. Moving on down. Dottie says, he would want you to go and show what real bluegrass is. Yeah, I know that. I know he would, but I feel torn. Payday 1963. Respect Isaac's Doctors. Yeah, he went to I think Barnes Children in St. Louis. Barnes has a great reputation, not just in Missouri, but across the United States. Barnes is a big deal. It's one of those name type hospitals, Let's see. Chipwood, our grandson just finished his first year at the college in Rolla. I didn't have a chance to visit with him on my way through last time. Yeah, the college in Rolla is a very well-known engineering college. It's a high-end engineering type college, really. And it's getting better all the time. Someone, I think a few years back, left them a huge grant, and so they've been improving the campus and the roads through the campus and everything. They're just giving it a facelift and doing all kinds of things. David Tharp, I just sold my homing pigeon on eBay for the 22nd time. That's funny. Listen, what was it? We had something like that. Something like that occurred in real life. I can't remember what it was. A dog or horse or something that came back to us. I can't remember now. There was something happened like that. I remember something happening in real life like that, but that's funny. Cup of Cool. Sorry for your loss, Mr. Rosa. I believe that a little charge to learn play mandolin is completely all right. Gary Hayden, Jerry, are you familiar with the device called Tone Bar Acoustic Guitar String Mounting System? No, Gary, Bill Webb brought that up yesterday, and I couldn't. I don't know what it is for sure. It does away with string pins. Yeah, well, it may be fine. I don't know. I shouldn't comment on it, but most of that stuff is gimmicky, and as far as I'm concerned, I reviewed something along those lines a long time ago. There's a video out there about it, and I just told it like it was. And boy, he says, you ruined my business. I said, well, I just told it like it was. I didn't favorite color it one way or the other. It's just, you sent it to me to review, I reviewed it. Don't send it to me if you don't want an honest review. That's the honest way I think about it. I've got no, negatives about those things. If they work, like I said, I'm the first one to adopt it if it works, but it's got to work. It's got to make common sense. If it's just crap piled on top of other crap, it's not worth my time. And I'll tell you that. Same way when I'm reviewing these products, I try to only accept products that I think are going to be okay. I was on the edge about that string trimmer and that that blower, Sue really wanted those. And I'm going, I don't think those are going to be any good. And they turned out they were fine. I mean, for what they are. Do I think they're for commercial use? No. Do I think they could be used on a small lawn? Yeah, no problem at all. So anyway, that kind of thing. So I try to be as honest as I can be, and I always will be. And you notice I did not put those on the products I use page, because for me, they're not that kind of stand up. They're not that kind of durable. They're fine for what they're used for, but that's not the way I use stuff. When I use stuff, it gets used. Trust me. John Robert Snyder, hello from Maryland. Will you send an alert when you start lessons? Be awesome to catch it live. I've been trying to comp licks from Jeremy Chapman. Oh my gosh. Well, if you're even close to his level, then you won't want my lessons. Trust me. And these lessons, by the way, are not going to be about playing lead. So that may change your opinion right away. This is going to be starting from scratch, like how to hold a pick, moving on up through all the way up to playing very complicated songs, but not necessarily playing the lead on the songs, but how to chord them, how to understand the chords, how to understand the music behind it, and why the music is arranged the way it is, all those kinds of things. And it'll make sense. It'll all be done in a common sense fashion, which anybody will be able to understand. It's not going to be the technical, complicated stuff. It'll make sense to you. I guarantee you it will. So I don't know. But seriously, if you're already comping licks from Jeremy Chapman, you probably won't be interested in my lessons, honestly. David Tharp, because I can't play anything Jeremy can play. David Tharp, in this economy, buying groceries is starting to make me wonder what a pine cone tastes like. Yeah. Boy, you can spend some money at, any store, grocery store especially, but any store. You can really spend some money these days. You can't get out of a store anymore for less than $100. It's just nuts. Simon Jardine, did you know two fleas won the lottery, Jerry? They bought a dog in Florida. Do you all know that, and I'm pretty sure I'm 100% right on this, but do you all know that fleas do not populate on dogs? I mean, they will infect a dog, but they don't grow on dogs. They only grow on cats. In other words, like they reproduce on cats, but they do not reproduce on dogs. They only reproduce on cats. So that may be a bit of trivia you may or may not have known. I don't know. But that is a fact. So if you get rid of your cats, for the most part, you get rid of your flea problem. I know some people are so attached to cats just like other people are to dogs. But anyway, we don't own a cat at this present time on the farm. We did have one down at the barn, and I don't remember what happened to it. Something pretty brutal happened to it. I don't remember what happened to it now. Cup of Cool, where do you take someone involved in a peekaboo accident? To the ICU. Yeah, watch that tone bar ad for $9. It's a no-brainer. Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched anything on the tone bar, so I know nothing about it. I probably should because several people have asked about it, but, what's been working for the last 150, 200 years just works real good, if you ask me. I don't see much point in changing that. And I don't see how, without looking at the tone bar, because I don't know, I don't see how you could really improve it. Really. I mean, it works pretty darn good. David Tharp, if you want to get rid of your cat, I know a Chinese restaurant. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, fleas grow on cats. They don't grow or they don't reproduce on dogs. That's pretty much a black and white truth. I'm pretty positive. Then again, somebody will prove me wrong on that. Guys, I think that's probably going to be it for today. The only other thing is start thinking about when and where, what time frame that you would like to do these lessons. Now, I know every single person is going to have a different idea. But if I, start to see that, morning's better or evening's better, I don't know, midday's better, keep in mind it's going to be during my central standard time, so, I don't know. We got to think about it. I would probably prefer to do it in an early evening or something, one day a week, something like that is probably my preference right now. I was actually thinking, since we play on Tuesdays at Dickey's, I was thinking to avoid that evening, but maybe a Thursday evening, or maybe, Thursdays would be bad because we have our live shows. So it'd probably have to be a Monday or a Friday, and Fridays are not usually very good. I'm kind of busy. Wednesdays are not usually good because lots of people like to go to church on Wednesday evenings. So we've already hit our first snag. It saves the top of the guitar, Jerry. Brass rod, you put strings on the inside of the guitar. Yeah, well, the brass might be okay, and then again, it could also make it sound really harsh. I think if you have a real good woody sounding instrument, you might be okay with the brass, but if you have a thin sounding instrument already, then it's going to sound real thin with the brass underneath there. So, again, I just say again, what's been working works pretty darn good. So, Gary Cooper, wrong about fleas and dogs. Well, you may say that, but I think if you'll Google it and look it up and do some deep research, that you might find that that's true. Dogs get ticks, though, for sure. Oh, yeah. Everything gets ticks. Ticks get on everything. And I don't know that they grow on any particular body, but they suck the blood out, and then I guess they drop off and reproduce or something. I don't know how the life cycle of a tick. When you're down in Arkansas, think of your buddy and sing him a real good gospel song. Yep, that's a good idea. I'm wondering about the fleas, too. My dog had some, and I had to spend a bunch to get rid of them. Yeah, well, I don't know. Are there neighborhood cats or whatever? What I'm saying is, I'm not saying dogs don't get fleas. I'm saying they don't reproduce on fleas. I know they get fleas, but they don't reproduce on the body of a dog. They reproduce on the body of a cat for some reason. There's a reason for it. I don't know what the reason is, but there's a reason for it. Carolyn says Thursdays would be good. We can just skip the week that you have the concert. Well, that's an idea. And we might do that. Ticks lay eggs in victim. Okay, well, if they do, I didn't know that. I don't think they do. I really don't. Because the reason I don't think they do is because seed ticks are basically baby ticks, and you find them on bushes in groves. I mean, in thousands. I mean, literally in thousands. I have been sitting on a deer stand where I've walked down a trail and looked down on my, pants leg and see them just moving in mass. And I'm taking a hunting knife and scraping them off. So I'm pretty sure they don't reproduce on a person. I could be wrong. I'm always open to being wrong, but on the other hand, I'm, based on my experience, and I've probably had as many ticks as anybody living on this planet. Yeah. Tone bar, you can't replace just one string. Well, right there, that already tells me that it's a piece of junk. If that's the truth. If that's the truth, it's a piece of junk. I wouldn't have it. I mean, like if you're on stage, what are you going to do if you break a string? If that's true, and again, I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know nothing about it. So I'm just saying, if that's true, then it's a piece of junk. I just completed my first Korean cookbook. It's entitled 101 and One Ways to Walk Your Dog. Oh, that one there is sick, man. That's really sick. You are a sick puppy there. No pun intended. Kim Williford. Cats have a smell that is romantic to fleas. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that this is a side experience, but it kind of reinforces what I'm saying. We bought a house in Wildwood, Missouri. That was our second house after we got married, and we moved into the Rockwood School District so the kids could go to school there, starting at kindergarten. Well, anyway, we bought this house, and the people that owned the house had a lot of cats in the house, and it, as you would expect, it was a mess, and it was infested with fleas. I mean, we had to throw out everything, just everything, and have the place fumigated. I mean, you would just get bites all over you. It was bad. It was incredibly bad. So they didn't have any dogs. They only had cats. So that's another reason I'm fairly sure that they reproduce on cats way more than they reproduce on dogs. And anyway, but I've also looked that up. It wasn't like just me talking off the top of my head. So I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. But anyway, I think that's probably going to be it. It looks like another one just scrolled up there. Simon Jardine, my mother freaked out when she found a tick on my young brother's head. Whilst waiting in a hospital, a farm worker with a bad injury looked at his head and simply scooped the tick with his thumbs. Yeah. People get all hung up on taking a tick off. Another true story. This is a true story. It's like I've said before, not all doctors graduate with a 4.0 average, grade point average. We used to live next door to a doctor. I'm not going to mention names, but a long time ago. And his wife got a tick. He's a doctor now. How do you think he took the tick off? He shot her with Novocaine, and then he was going to remove the tick. Well, after he shot her with Novocaine, guess what? The tick went plunk and fell off. Oh my gosh. I mean, some people are just eat up with dumb. That's all I can tell you. They're just eat up with it. Yeah, taking a tick off is no big deal. Just grab a hold of it. And if you can't do it with your fingers, just take a tweezers and grab it towards the head, as close to the head as you can, and pull it off. You don't want to, especially if it's been on a while, you don't want to squeeze the body because you're squeezing the juice back into your arm. So just grab it at the head and just reach around it and just with your fingernails like this and just pull it off. It ain't no big deal. It's not a big deal at all. Trust me, I've had gazillions. I've probably had 25 already this year. Sue's had way more than that. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Trust me, when I say I've had as many as anybody living on the planet, I'm pretty sure that's a true statement. Just as, I'm not saying the most, I'm saying it just as, I've had as many ticks as just about anybody. It's crazy, especially this year. This year's the worst I've ever seen. Sidecar Bob, tone bar goes through the ball ends inside the guitar. Dumb idea. Yeah, so in other words, you probably have to pull the brass out to the sound hole, loop the strings, loop it through there, up through. I don't know how you would do it. It just don't make sense to me. And what we've been using for 200 years works pretty darn good. I just go back to that. Unless it's an improvement, a significant improvement over what you're doing, why do it? John Robert Schneider says tone bar run. Yeah, run away, I guess. If you want high end, buy pins Martin puts in the modern era 28 and 18s. Yeah, there's all kinds of good pins out there. And honestly, again, I always tell you, if you're going to spend your money on your guitar, spend it at that end. Well, the pins are going to affect your sound a little bit. I'll give you that. But the pins are not where your biggest sound improvement's going to come from. So, changing your pins out for sound is probably not your best spending of your buck either. It's better than spending it at the nut, though, in terms of changing your sound. You'll actually change your sound more with your pins than you will changing your sound at the nut. Lots of people still argue with me about that, but you're not getting nothing out of your nut in terms of sound. I mean, so little that a dog isn't going to hear it. Anyway, more than fair what you are asking for the mandolin lessons, Jerry. Well, thank you, Elias. The dirty knobs. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yep, and I agree with that 100%, especially about this tone bar thing, whatever it's called. Kelly Manis, good. Google says fleas do lay eggs on the dog. Had thought it was like ticks that feed off, lay eggs somewhere. Okay, well, I'll just say that I've been proven wrong, but I researched it a long time ago, and it's been a long time, and that research, and it seemed to be pretty official, said they don't lay eggs on dogs. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never seen a house infested with fleas from dogs. I have seen them infested with fleas from cats. So I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, whether I'm right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to change the world. But y'all have a good day. We will see you tomorrow with something else. Thanks for your feedback on the training. We'll figure out something and get it going here before long. By the way, I think tomorrow is going to be the last vlog this week because Thursday morning I'll be leaving real early to head down to Arkansas. At least that's my plan right now. Thank you.